You've been doing this job for years, maybe decades, and there are days when you walk into the classroom feeling completely drained before the first bell even rings. You're not tired, you're drained. There's a difference. Here's what's wild though. You've probably been told the answer is self-care. Maybe your school set up a wellness room. Maybe there's a therapist on call, or a support group, or a safe space to decompress. Those things matter. They do. A safe space, though, can't do this. A safe space can open a door, but it can't build the strength for you to walk through it. That capacity, you have to train it. That's what this video is all about. Teachers carry one of the most demanding emotional loads of any profession. Think about what a single day actually requires of you. You're managing 30 individual relationships at once. You're regulating your own emotions while absorbing theirs. You are navigating an institution that doesn't always have your back. And you're doing all of this on a timeline that leaves almost no room for recovery. Christina Maslach is a psychologist at Berkeley. She spent decades studying professional burnout, and what she found isn't what most people expect. Burnout isn't exhaustion alone. It's exhaustion plus detachment. She called it emotional depersonalization. That's the moment where you stop feeling like yourself and start feeling like a function, a role, a service, a body in a room. You are not broken when that happens. You're depleted. And depletion follows patterns, which means it can be trained. The usual prescription for teacher stress goes something like this. Set limits, say no, practice self-care. Those aren't wrong, but they're incomplete because it tells you what to build. It doesn't tell you how to build it. Think about it in terms of physical fitness. You don't get stronger by knowing you need to lift more. You get stronger by doing the reps, specific, repeatable, progressive. Mental fitness works the same way. You need reps. 3 reps, not a checklist, not a framework you'll forget by Thursday. 3 specific practices before the chaos, during the chaos, and after. Rep 1, before the chaos. This one happens before you walk in, before the emails, before the first period bell, and before your nervous system is already running on borrowed time. Here's the rep. Choose one thing that's yours. One small action that belongs only to you, before anyone else needs anything from you. It could be 5 minutes without your phone. It could be a short walk. It could be writing 1 sentence. The point isn't the activity, the point is the decision. You are training yourself to act on your own behalf before the day makes it impossible. That's the rep. 1 decision before the chaos. Rep 2, during the day. I'll be honest with you, this one is harder because it happens in the middle of the storm, between classes, in the hallway, at 2 p.m. when your patience is completely gone. So here's the rep. Find a threshold, literally. A door frame, a stairwell, a bathroom door, any moment of physical transition, and pause. 10 seconds. Feel your shoulders. Notice your breathing, and let your nervous system remember that you exist. You're not that situation. The situation is happening, but you are just witnessing it. That sounds small, but James Gross is a Stanford psychologist who spent decades studying emotional regulation. One of his core findings is this: the window between a trigger and your response, that's where all the capacity lives. 10 seconds at a door frame is that window. You're not escaping the classroom. You are returning to yourself before you walk back in. So that's the rep. A threshold, 10 seconds, every time. Rep 3, evening. This is the one most teachers skip because it feels selfish. It doesn't feel like work, which is exactly why it works. So here's the rep. Name what you gave today. Name what you should have done better. Not what's still on the list for tomorrow, what you actually gave. 1 student you stayed patient with. 1 moment you showed up when it was hard. 1 decision you made on purpose. This isn't journaling for the sake of journaling. This is training your nervous system to recognize its own output. Because brains that never receive a signal of completion, they stay in overdrive. They keep scanning for the next threat. That's why you're wired at 11 p.m. even when you're exhausted. That loop, it hasn't closed, and this rep closes it. Name what you gave, put the day down, that's the rep. Now, I want to be clear about something, and I want to say it directly. These 3 reps are not individual responsibility. They are individual agency. This is not a semantic difference. Responsibility puts the burden of a broken system on the person inside it. Agency says something different. Regardless of what the system does or doesn't do, you have the ability to respond to that same stressor, that same school, that same impossible workload. Totally different inner experience. You're not fixing the institution. You're building the capacity to stay whole inside it until the institution changes, or until you find one that already has. That's survival with dignity. Let me say that again, because it's easy to miss. The goal is to be able to carry more, without losing yourself in the process. In physical fitness, you train so the weight doesn't break you. In mental fitness, it's the same principle. The load is invisible, but the reps are real. So those are your reps for this week. Pick one of them, just one. Before the chaos, during, or after. Maybe try and do one every day for 5 days and notice what shifts. Not just in your energy, but in how much of yourself you bring home at the end of the day. If you want to dig deeper on this, building these practices with real structure and accountability, that's exactly what we do at Forte. Check us out at getforte.com. You're not broken. You were never given the reps. That's mental fitness.